All right, welcome in everybody to the Auburn Undercover podcast, Auburn Undercover YouTube channel. Jason Caldwell here, jamming out to some Taylor Swift in the background.
That's right.
Auburn soccer
maybe one of the only songs I know, so we're good. So.
Hopefully it doesn't overpower these mics here, but Auburn soccer is getting ready to go. But some big news from the building behind us, Jason. As you reported during the day today, as we're recording here on Thursday, Auburn has named its starting quarterback. Not only have they trimmed down the competition, they've named their starter. Unsurprisingly, it is Payton Thorne, the Michigan State transfer. We got a lot of good context today from Hugh Freeze. But I guess, Jason, just first, when you found out that it was Thorne, your initial reaction after we've been watching camp for about 3 weeks now.
Yeah, not real surprised. I mean, you bring in a guy that's played that much football, similar system as to what he's running now. You would expect that guy to hit the ground running, and that's all we've heard about Payton Thorne is that he's done that on the field, off the field, getting to know his teammates. I mean, little things like asking for a photo of everybody in the building so he would be able to know their name when he saw them. Those are the little things that impact a quarterback decision, whether it's because that shows you how much detail is involved for a guy like Payton Thorne. Detail's been a key. Hugh Freeze talked about him and how he's been consistent in the things he's done. I think that's a big part of this, and so not surprised. I think we all saw that this was probably the highest percentage play when we heard that Payton Thorne was coming to Auburn. This was wound up in the news.
They brought him in here for a reason. I mean, they moved a lot of things around and got him very quickly in the transfer portal, made a really big effort to make him the quarterback here. At the same time, it was a tight race. Hugh Freeze admitted it was a difficult decision to make. Sort of some context from him added to the scrimmage on Saturday, because his comments after the scrimmage that we talked about were, well, I had my mind made up going into the day, and now I'm going to need to watch the film. He said that he was pretty sure it was Payton, so he wasn't just talking about cutting it down. He said, I was pretty set on Payton Thorne. However, he said not only did Ashford have a good day, but he said Thorne kind of forced it a little bit. And so him taking a step back was, okay, are you going to be doing this when you're the starter, or are you still trying to press because you want to become the starter? And that leads into the situation now, which is Payton Thorne is the starter for UMass.
Yep.
I thought it was interesting, Hugh Freeze said, there's not, quote, competition for that job right now. It's his right now. However, they're still going to evaluate this thing, of course,
and
even into the season.
Correct. And I think he is the starter, but he continues to say, look, game 2, game 3, game 12, we'll see. And so I think that's where the competition comes from a guy like Robby Ashford. That's what he said. He's like, we want to continue to see Robby Ashford, Holden Geriner continue to push. Robby Ashford going to get the majority of the 2 reps. I mean, obviously makes it clear he's the number 2 guy.
Right.
But Holden Geriner is going to continue to get some 2 reps as well. But yeah, I mean, you're looking now is how does it morph into what we'll see this year? The one thing that jumped out immediately was one thing that we've all speculated, that he said, look, Robby Ashford's going to have him packaged in this offense. What that is, how much it is, we'll see. But Hugh Freeze said, look, I've got experience doing that.
Yeah, and he's done it you talk about going all the way back to Arkansas State. He did it at Ole Miss as well, rattled off a bunch of players he's done it with. Of course, he said Robby Ashford is maybe the most freakish athlete he's ever coached. So like Jason said, we kind of had that idea that he was going to find a way to get him on the field in some way. Talk about Payton Thorne and what he brings to this offense, how he has run this offense so well throughout preseason camp, or at least well enough to win the starting job right now. A lot of that, Jason, has to do with a new look receiving core. I thought it was interesting. Noticed it the other day at practice that a receiver ran a wrong route on the option route.
Yeah.
Payton Thorne immediately, the ball was caught actually. It was thrown behind him, but it was caught. It's Jair Shorter. Thorne whips around to Hugh Freeze and immediately saw it and knew what to say, knew how to correct it. Receivers coach comes over. I think that is a really big component here, but like you said, that's going to be something they're going to keep looking at throughout the season, or in the early stage of the season, because if all the quarterbacks have a good understanding of that, then it's pretty even playing ground. But right now, I think that's a big advantage for Thorne, is that this is it's an interesting receiving group that's maybe had some issues, maybe had some highs and some lows, but he has, that 26 games of Power 5 experience under his belt where he can assess some of these things.
And the importance of doing it now. Hugh Freeze said, hey, my gut tells me this is the right move. The importance of doing it now is because of that quarterback wide receiver relationship. Hey, it's always important. It is extremely important in this offense because there's so much that isn't designed. This is if this guy's here, you do this. If he's here, you do this. And the quarterback and receiver have to be on the same page to make those things work. When they work, it becomes a pretty efficient and a pretty deadly way to do an offense.
Right.
But you got to be on the same page. And so you add in a new quarterback who just got here this summer, to Jair Shorter, to Shane Hooks, to Caleb Burton. And not only is he trying to get used to teammates who've already been here, he's trying to get used to teammates who are in the same boat he is. And so the offense is fine. It's just now you get more reps with the ones to get those guys all, okay, this is what I saw. Why'd you see that? Why'd you do this? This is what I saw. those things have to get worked out. Now you've got more time to do that.
Yeah, we'll see today. We're going to head to practice here in just a few minutes. We'll see how that develops with, like you said, Jason, Robby Ashford taking the second team reps. Holden Garner will get an opportunity. Freeze said it today, and we'll touch on it for a minute. He said, I still think Holden is the best pure passer in this room. He said he doesn't necessarily expect any, he was asked, do you think one of your backups is going to transfer out? I think right now this is a competition where these guys realize, and Freeze referenced it. He said, look, I played my fourth team quarterback.
Yep.
I think that's the game they beat BYU
last
with a fourth team quarterback. And he said, I played my number 4 quarterback. You never know when it's going to come down to that. And obviously him and Auburn both want all of these guys to stay in the mix right now because you never know when you might need them.
That's it. You got to keep preparing. And Holden's a redshirt freshman. Robbie's has been in college a long time, but only a redshirt sophomore.
Right.
So there's
SEC
still
freshman of the year last year.
There's still a lot going on for both those guys. And we've referenced it throughout camp, competition. This continues the competition now, and like I said, there's a starter for game number 1. There's no guarantee that, Payton Thorne's got to continue to progress. He said unless something freakish happens, he's going to be the starter when they go out there for UMass, but he has to continue to prepare and work that way to keep that job and can keep moving forward, and that's now what the job is for Robby Ashford and Holden Garner, is to push him when they get those opportunities.
SEC all freshman, I should have said, for Ashford last year. Yeah, you talked about it with Thorne saying, Freeze saying, like, my gut felt like it was the right time to do this. He said also, I want to see now what he looks like in that situation. Is he going to keep pressing,
right,
or is he going to be able to maybe hang back a little bit, maybe be comfortable now? How is that going to change things? So, it's maybe a little bit early, maybe a little bit later when you look at some other programs that name their starters earlier, but Hugh Freeze felt it was the right time here on Thursday to name Payton Thorne the starting quarterback. Jason Caldwell, Nathan King, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're going to head over to practice. Catch you guys later.